Now which build do I want to play in the Gauntlet? It's gotta be super tanky. I think it's gonna be the Boneshatter Juggernaut. Yes, I finally made my decision. The build I am playing is Boneshatter Juggernaut. It's been quite fun. This build is very tanky. It can take a hit. You probably saw at the beginning of the game, I was just standing in the middle of a bunch of monsters, and not a huge deal, not a care in the world. Got very high armor, got fortify, got all kinds of stuff. We're just gonna blow up one more pack. You know, for a second you might think that this build is not really great for clear, and maybe it's not the best build, but it does have quite a bit of AoE, quite a bit of strike range, and when you hit a pack of monsters, there's a good amount of them to blow up. So it doesn't feel as bad as you might think. The playstyle for this build is pretty simple. Drop a totem, start hitting things. It's really that easy. Let's take the boss out here. Can he do any damage to me? I mean, it's a little harder, but you know, not too big of a deal. And then we just smash him down. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to expect the biggest DPS from this build, but that's not its strong suit. Its strong suit's being powerful and safe, and that's what we're going for, especially since we're playing hardcore solo self-found. Before we jump into Path of Building, I just want to point out that all of my gear right now is absolute trash. It's all just rares I found on the ground or vendor rewards, and then I just crafted something useful on. None of this is any good. Let's jump into Path of Building, and I'll explain it more in detail. Here's the POB, and this is a level 94 POB. I'm only trying to get to level 80 in the Gauntlet. It's going to be very hard, of course, and there's only 7 days to play the event, so I'm trying to manage my expectations as to how far I'm actually going to get. So we're going to do a 94 tree. And to make this POB, what I did is I did take a build from PoE Ninja that was Boneshatter and all the common stuff that you would put on a Boneshatter build. I then took off 6 points that would least affect the build, and then I crafted all of these items actually from the craftofexile.com simulator. And all I did there was I took a decent base item and then I just hit it with either essences, chaos orbs, or some harvest crafting. And these are all things that you're going to have access to in solo self-found. I hit each one with up to like 10 to 12 crafts, and if I hit something good on the 4th one, I just kept that. So a lot of these items are really not that good. I mean, the axe is pretty low physical DPS. It doesn't have really any other good mods. Has some bleeding, some global accuracy rating, and everything else is just like this one is. I think I hit this with a life essence, so I got dexterity, armor and evasion, stun and block, a little bit of regen, and then I crafted on what I needed. I'm looking for max chaos res. The point is, all of these items are not particularly good, so I think everybody in solo self-found will be able to make these at least, and probably a lot better. I did them again with just chaos orbs, essence crafting, and harvest. Let's start with our main link. We're going to be doing Boneshatter, Brutality, Ruthless, Close Combat, Melee Fizz, and Impale. This is going to be the best you're going to be able to do. Next is a 3-link cast when damage taken with Vol Molten Shell. It's going to be our main defensive. Vol Molten Shell, of course, is very good because we have very high armor, about 85,000 or more if you have better items. We're also linking that to vulnerability to cast that automatically. Our cast when damage taken is only level 1, so we don't have to take 528 damage, so we'll be constantly casting vulnerability and Molten Shell. In our 6-link weapon or armor, we're doing Ancestral Protector with Main and multi-totems. Main is very important, that'll give us a lot of damage. And then we have Leap Slam, faster attacks. We've also thrown Blood Rage in here, but you can put that somewhere else if you want to. For movement skill, you're mostly going to be using a Leap Slam, but you can also take a second one. If you like Flame Dash, you can do that one. I like Frost Blink, so I'm going to take that one. Ancestral Cry is big. That's going to let us hit additional enemies and give us additional strike range. Then for our auras, we're going to do Blood and Sand, War Banner, Termination, obviously, and Pride. And then finally, Precision linked to Arrogance. Now, Precision, you just want to level up Precision until you can do Precise Technique, which is 40% more attack damage if accuracy rating is higher than max life. So because our life is going to be quite a bit, we're going to need quite a bit of accuracy rating. So right now we got 5483 life, so we're going to need 5483 accuracy rating. You don't want to take any more precision than you have to, just because it's going to reserve life. So you can notice if I go lower than 11, my DPS drops off from 1.1 million to 800k, and that's because precision 10 is not enough to allow me to use precise technique. When I go up to 11, now I can. And how high your precision is going to need to be is going to be based on your items. Of course, you want to prefer accuracy on items when you can. It's going to make it a lot easier to hit it. Now, if for some reason you just absolutely cannot get the amount of accuracy that you need, you can just drop this keystone, but you're going to lose a lot of damage. Let's talk about defenses for this build, and there's a lot of them. So we'll just start with the Ascendancy. So we get 86,000 armor. That's probably a minimum. The gear I have is not good. So you can probably think of that as a minimum. Every one of these small Ascendancy nodes gives 15% increased armor, so that's huge. Another thing is Unstoppable. We're not going to be able to get stunned. Obviously, getting stunned is very dangerous. There's a lot of monsters around. We're going to get more movement speed. And the big thing, action speed and movement speed cannot be modified below base value. So any ground that slows us is not going to slow us. And that's going to be really good. You can just move around and not have to worry about getting stuck. Unbreakable is a huge defensive layer. We're going to get double armor from our body armor, and 8% of armor applies to fire, cold, and lightning damage taken from hits. You can see the effect of unallocating this Ascendancy. Our effective hit pool drops by over half. Next defensive layer is regen. We're going to get about a 500 life regen per second, and even more when we're getting hit in the past 10 seconds, where we generate 1.5% of the physical damage that we prevented. Next layer is resistances. From Barbarism, we're going to get +1 max fire res. We're going to get +1 max fire res again, and then we're going to get +2 max all res. And finally, Soul of Steel, which we're going to take anyway for the big armor boost, is going to give us +1% max all res. And the result is 80% fire res and 78% cold and lightning. Next defensive layer is Fortify. We're going to gain Fortify on hit at the cost of -3 max fortification, but we're going to gain +1 max fortification back, so we're going to pretty much have 21 fortification all the time. We should definitely endeavor to be spell suppress capped, but it's going to require getting some stats on your items for sure. You won't be able to take care of that with the tree alone. We can take this wheel here for, I think, what, 12, 5, 5, so that's 15 plus 12, 27, with another 12 if you have evasion on your boots, helmet, and gloves. So you might be saying, well, I don't want evasion on my stuff because I'm an armor build. No big deal. Have this keystone down here, Iron Reflexes. That's going to convert all of your evasion rating to armor. Any evasion or armor pieces that you have will just essentially all be armor. So this one wheel is 39 suppression, so you'll just have to come up with 61% suppression somewhere else in your equipment. And finally, for our armor mastery, we're going to take 30% reduced extra damage from crits. Let's talk a little about offenses. So the rest of the tree, besides all the life nodes, is going to be axe nodes, two-handed nodes, and anything involving physical damage or attack speed. This one attack wheel down here is pretty big. I would prioritize this if you can. It's going to give us more melee strike range, as well as melee strike skills deal splash damage to surrounding targets. This is what's going to make you hit a pack of enemies and they just all explode. And we get a lot of increased strike range. We get 2 from these nodes. We get 3 from the attack mastery, and then we get 3 more from Master of the Arena. And then Boneshatter itself has increased melee strike range built into it. And then Ancestral Cry increases that even further. As far as damage goes, in a build, this is of course secondary. Defenses is the most important thing, but damage is not too shabby. The Boneshatter attack is about 1.1 million, and then the pulse that goes out is about 1.3 million. This also does not factor in max rage, which if you are hitting a single target over and over and over again for a while, you're eventually going to end up with max rage, and you're going to be doing a lot more damage than that. This also assumes a modest amount of trauma stacks. Every time you hit an enemy, you gain a trauma stack. The more attack speed you have, the more trauma stacks you can stack up, and the higher they get, the more damage you're going to do. This definitely won't be the fastest mapper, but it doesn't have to be. The whole point of this build is to take a hit in the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet, everything is moving faster, they're doing more damage, and you got to be able to take a hit. Because it doesn't matter how fast you clear, if your character is dead, then you don't get to play it anymore. I think that's it for the overview. I will leave a copy of this POB in the description if you want to roughly follow this. Again, this is just a build from PoE Ninja where I deducted 6 points and then I crafted all new items using the Path of Exile simulator just to find items that would be reasonable. I wanted to give you a really fair and attainable POB for hardcore solo self-found in a Gauntlet scenario, something that even I can do, and I'm not that great at the game. Thanks a lot for checking out the video. I really hope that this helped you maybe choose Boneshatter for the Gauntlet tomorrow, and I hope you actually play in the Gauntlet. I know I will be. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch for the very first time ever. A link to my Twitch is in the description if you want to come say hi to me. That'd be really great. Good luck tomorrow, and see everybody soon.